Tuesday Night Movie Club, once again. The podcast where three middle-aged straight men talk about films they've seen. Absolutely groundbreaking, once again. Except no imitations. I'm your host, Dr. Dean Burnett, second best wet mechanic in the business. Recently lost my title because a guy in QuickFit had his boiler broke. It was a terrible mess. And with me, as ever, I'm not actually. I'll get that in a second. But here with John Rain, Lord of the Smirch, perhaps. You could call him the guru of podcasting because he was once played by Mike Myers and it was shit. And on the other hand, we have professional Welshman Dan Thomas, also known as Professional Curmudgeon. A resident curmudgeon, he's been referred to on this podcast, which is like Resident Evil, except when they bite you, you complain about kids today. So that is the introductions.
Bloody hell! He's actually written an intro.
I know.
No, top of my head.
No, it wasn't.
I know, of course it wasn't.
Yeah.
Although
very professional.
We're going to get complaints because at no point did you mention that we're here for the biggest dog in the world competition.
Yeah. Here's the biggest dog in the world. He can see how much this Alsatian could lift, do it, and do squats at the same time.
I will say, if anyone here is upset that John isn't hosting this at the moment, you have other options for podcasts hosted by John Rain.
Yeah.
If you are especially upset about that. So.
He is doing the world's biggest dog podcast at the minute. I think that's the one that's going to get him the
I am.
award.
It's called Big Dog. I'm a bit annoyed.
Is it a tie-in with Clifford? I hope not, because that would be awful.
Yeah, one's got Jack Whitehall in it, and my one's proposing to have Jack Whitehall put in the dog.
Deleted scene with all.
Imagine that. Imagine your agent saying, Jack, they want you to be in Clifford the Big Red Dog. Oh, great! You get there, right? We're going to lube you up.
Yeah, we're going to lube you up, insert you, and then we're going to have the dog put down.
And you're going to slowly digest inside him.
Yeah, it's
like a Sarlacc.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sarlacc, by the way, does sound like Jethro's got the Somerset comedian thing. Mm-hmm. Sarlacc sounds like it should be a Welsh comedian.
Sarlacc.
Yeah. Hello,
North Wales, maybe.
It's me and Sarlacc. I'm here tonight to talk to you about bras.
You should see what's been digested in me over 1,000 years. And then introducing Jack Whitehall.
Oh, I tell you what, it works though, because Sarlacc Pit.
Oh, yeah.
My grandfather used to work there. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he could come all blacked up. Not like that, because he's been working in the pit.
Yes. I sometimes make predictions about it's going to go first off, but this wasn't it, so I'm happy with that.
I have massively derailed us. Carry on, please.
It's fine. You mean you've got at least 45 episodes worth of this before we break even. And so this is a very unusual Tuesday Night Movie Club for listeners. It's the daytime where we're recording this.
Yeah.
The sun is up, and that's unusual for us.
And there's no booze. I'm drinking fizzy water and tea.
I have a kind of Diet Coke on the go, so if there's any gas emissions, that's me. Apologies for that.
But I'm drinking whiskey. What's wrong with you boys?
I'm still doing the dry January thing, so far so good. But if I sniff whiskey now, I'll just pass out, which is much cheaper.
Definitely.
Yeah, and also I would say this is our first horror we're doing today.
Pretty much, yeah. We talked about this in the WhatsApp because we mentioned Galaxy of Terror, but that was more of a sci-fi thing, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this has sci-fi elements, but it's definitely a horror, I think. And,
but it's also you take science. It's not science fiction; it's science fact, Dean.
Yeah.
You find
right. Well, that's going to be a point of conflict, I think, going forward. Which,
this film is set 20 minutes in our future. Okay, this could happen
to you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So this is going to be a thing, is it? Right. Okay. Well, just to not tease people anymore, we're doing Malignant, 2021 film, last year.
2021, yeah.
Dan's choice, and Dan, you've been espousing the merits of Malignant for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm not really a horror person. I don't like horror, and then for whatever reason, around Christmas, I watched a bunch of horror films, and I'd heard about this one, but as a punchline on Twitter, like you had to know what it was about to get the joke.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll give that a go, and I loved it so intensely immediately. And I'm rubbish at horror. I get really scared, so I watched it. Certainly, the first hour of this film, I watched through fingers.
Yeah,
mine, but. To be clear, and so it totally works as a horror, and I don't tend to like horror. But then, obviously, we'll get to it. It takes a fucking swerve at a certain point, and that's when I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Dan built it up because obviously it's all about brain stuff. So I think you were especially keen to hear my reaction, and I enjoyed. I'll be honest, I actually enjoyed. And I know we joked about the whole science thing of it, but this, from a neuroscientist perspective, this is like asking me to say, can you critique this from the neuroscience point of view? It's like saying to an astrophysicist, watch Flash Gordon, tell me what's wrong with it. I don't know where to begin with this, so I'm just going to sit back and enjoy it. So. John, you're the horror guy here, so how does it work on a horror level?
I loved it. It reminded me, I was saying to Dan off air, that when I was a little kid, I was a bit of a video shop kid, and my parents were very happy for me to rent out anything because they were mentally ill. And this reminds me of, I can imagine in the 80s the cover to this film being beautifully airbrushed. And I'd have just picked this up and thought, this sounds fun. And it just reminded me that even the acting's that kind of thing.
Oh, the kids just walked in. Sorry, as I say, we're doing it at lunchtime. She's just handed me the remains of her pasta.
Oh,
excellent job.
Ugh. Carry on, guys. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I guess let's not put it off any longer. Shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's please do that.
Okay, cool. So, film opens with a dramatic shot of Simeon Research Hospital in 1993. Couldn't think of a more scary-looking building on purpose, could you? I mean, it's not subtle in terms of it's a gigantic Gothic research hospital with green windows in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a storm.
It looks like Aaron Banks' house.
I've not seen it, but that sounds about right.
There's genuinely, as we drive up to North Wales, there's an old power plant. Oh God, I can't remember what it's called now, but a nuclear power plant. And it looks like this.
God.
And and it's
glow
also,
as well, yeah.
Yeah. And I believe I don't say anything about the council, but I believe there's been a cancer cluster there as well. So it's that. I love this because it says if you drive up to it, it looks like this must be when I watch it set in like the 1860s. No, 1993 Seattle. This is.
Yeah, well, it doesn't say Seattle, but it becomes quite obvious very soon. So we got this big research hospital, Simeon Research Hospital. Odd name. I don't know what's meant to. It must meant to allude to something. We cut to Dr. Florence Weaver doing a video diary, like on MySpace, and she's talking about a subject named Gabriel, who's getting too strong. So much so that
Peter Gabriel. Yeah. He's like a steamroller. They went in there and he started doing all stop motion.
He's too strong. He's got a sledgehammer, and that's why they should.
He points. He points. There's a bit where they run in the surgery in a minute, and he points, and there's a little chicken dancing under the spotlight. Terrifying.
See, I made that sledgehammer joke. It didn't land, and that was the extent of my Peter.
You know what? I was gonna. It was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I just ignored it. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Okay, you've gone through this so much, John. I can't even begin to complain. So as she's recording the video, she gets interrupted, saying Gabriel or something. He's escaping. And as they walking down the corridor, here comes my first extensive note. Her colleague, Dr. Field, says, "I tried to subdue him with ECT." My comment is saying, "No, absolutely not," and that's what that says.
What's ECT? Electroconvulsive
therapy. That's the stuff they gave him in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
So like electroshock.
You do see at some point later on in the film they get the two things and put them on either side of the skull.
Yes, no, I don't dispute that they know what ECT is, but you have to be subdued before you have ECT normally because it.
What they've done there is
through your brain.
You're thinking of a taser there, guys.
Yeah, I hit him with this big stick instead.
Imagine getting the email when you tase in the patients. Just for insurance reasons, can we pretend it's electroconvulsive therapy and not you gone mental with a battery gun?
Also, if taser does not work, please break glass for big stick.
That reminded me of a Simpsons joke when they find Homer's got like that layer of fluid in his skull so he can be a boxer and stuff, and Dr. Hibbert goes, "Why, I could strike you by the head all day with a surgical 2x4." It just unwraps it from the wrap. So
that is a thing.
There's precedent, and this is one at the same time. So here we go. So they go towards the room where Gabriel presumably is being kept, and someone flies backwards through the door, which implies strength. And Her colleague says it's like he was drinking the electricity and controlling our machines.
Oh, don't. The way he says it is so funny. The acting here is so funny.
It's my favourite line. The chubby guy gets murdered later. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's got all my favourite line readings.
Yeah. You mean the chubby guy who in 27 years hasn't aged a day?
Hasn't aged a day. That's because they say this, don't they? Because if you're jolly, you don't age as quick, do you?
Well, some people are like that. I mean, I've looked like 40-ish since I was 18.
Yeah.
And when I am 40-ish, I'll probably look about right. So
maybe it's something about being a doctor.
Quite possibly, yes. We spend a lot of time indoors.
Do you say everything really dramatically? I'm gonna use the microwave.
I do not, Jonathan.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So, yeah. I was going to say, John, you're the horror expert here.
Yeah.
Because I'm like Dan. I really got not much familiarity with horror at all. It's never been my thing. A lot of the time, I felt like, were they like doing like sly wink towards convention, or are they playing this totally straight? It's hard to tell sometimes.
I can't decide because it feels like
it's not just me,
it feels like they're doing a kind of Sam Raimi sort of pastiche, but they're also doing the airplane thing where they're getting actors to read out really awful lines very seriously. Yeah. I just can't decide. I think it's brilliant, whatever they're doing.
my favourite one's in a couple of minutes. Yes, the security guard is there. They've got a massive tranquilizer gun, and he goes to the door to try and use it, but something grabs his arm and snaps it, and the bone starts sticking out. First bit of nice gore there from the weirdly underpowered security guards. Mm-hmm. So eventually, Dr. Weaver gets the gun, shoots Gabriel, presumably, and goes in the room, and there are about 20 dead medics in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of corpses in this room.
Were they students?
I'm not sure. I'm sure they're expendable, but there are still a lot of corpses. I think once you start hitting double digits with the subject kills your staff, you usually ethical approval would mandate you shut that down.
Dean, if you went into as a doctor, went in with loads of students to look at a man who had like a one of those legs that keeps jittering, and every time someone comes near him, he kicks them to death. And once he gets to about 12 or 13 people, you think someone would come in and shut that down, really, wouldn't you?
I was just coming in. I'm going to shut this door.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. How about we do it behind the screen like they do in X-rays? If you have an X-ray, you have to go behind the screen for that. But if this thing is murdering people left, right, and centre, I just poke it with a stick, as we said.
There's a bloke in there with a gun. We're going to all go in. See what happens.
It's really sort of tired-looking security guard. He'll be all we need. So a lot of dead medics in there, and we don't see Gabriel up to this point, but we do see the feet, and they have adorable little panda socks on. So clearly, it's a child of some sort. And then the radio kicks into life, and we hear Gabriel's thoughts to it, and he's being very aggressive and angry sounding. And so Gabriel's trapped in the chair behind the curtains. We don't.
Is that your favourite line reading? Because this is where the chubby doctor has my favourite line delivery in the entire film.
Oh, what's that then?
He's broadcasting his thoughts.
I did enjoy that.
It was this next bit, but Dr. Weaver says, basically, it's just before the credits roll. He goes, smash cut, zoom on Dr. Weaver. It's time we cut out the cancer. In an extremely dramatic way. And then again, red herring. Red
herring, exactly. But then we also get the opening credits, which it looks like they've been sent from 1993.
I got opening credits like Angry ER.
Yeah. It's really odd.
If you watch it and pause it, the whole movie gets given away in the credits sequence.
I thought that. Yeah, I noticed that. Sounds
actually, if you watch it, you go, "Oh, that's what the whole movie is." It gives away the twist.
Yeah, they're quite quick, and I guess you don't know that. But it's quite. It's very detailed, informative credits, aren't they? I mean, I picked up on that. I think, well, this will make sense later, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I guess the way they've put that horrible middle of the road rock music on it, it makes you not want to look at the screen. So
exactly.
You don't look at
I didn't take it in. I was just thinking, the whole time I'm thinking, that looks a bit like Seven. This is a pastiche of there was a lot of these kind of trailers in the late 90s.
Yeah.
The music in this is odd, isn't it? It keeps. It seems to be just.
Well, it's got about 5 notes. There's a bit that it keeps coming in on the dramatic bits, and he goes, "Oh, that must have been the dramatic bit then." What she said,
paint by numbers, but audio version.
It also keeps using the Pixies song "Where Is My Mind."
That's right.
Yeah.
It's all there. All the clues are there.
Which annoys me because they should have used "You Were Always on My Mind."
A very tonal shift.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't love you.
I think Pet Shop Boys version.
Yeah, exactly.
Good times.
Okay. I'll tell you what I would have loved in the credits, right? Because it explains what's happening in the film.
Cock.
Big floppy
cock.
Floppy.
Is it fluffy cock?
Either or. But I would like,
There's a big
because
dog ring.
they show all the paperwork of all the medical records. And what I'd love is just at the end, they have a copy of the real estate documentation that explains how the lady who's the hero lives in a massive house on a single income. Because we get it's
Well, we have
one of
some
those
clues about that
classic.
later.
Well, she lives in a
Big out-
she lives in a TARDIS, doesn't she? Because the house is quite small on the outside, and when you go inside, it's fucking enormous with a
But only when it needs to be.
Yeah,
Only
with a-
when it needs
with
to
a
be for the plot.
30-foot high and wide loft with a Ridley
Which-
Scott fan installed. in it.
As it turns out, will be vital to the plot later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I have the same thing because we do see her husband first, but he doesn't seem like a high achiever or high earner.
He's not. He's probably got a podcast.
I think he was editing it when we first saw him. It looked like he was doing something.
He's watching sports, but when she came in, he should have been watching like Superman 3 or something. Hey, I was
Yeah.
watching that for my
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, he's got like a yellow notepad, and he's got. And it always got his one big. He looks like he's having a wank there. That's all it says.
All it says. Yeah.
There's a blue Yeti next to him, of course, at all times.
Yep.
Yeah. So like it's Madison, the heroine. We think she comes in. She's visibly pregnant.
Yeah.
Goes upstairs.
Oh, we should probably say genuine at this point. Trigger warning for some of the things that come up in a minute.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. This is
It's
It's a horror.
But at the start I was like this. Only a couple of times at the start I went, this feels manipulative of real, genuine traumas that people go through.
Yeah, they could have done this
Oh,
in many
yeah.
different ways.
It's
This-
a little tasteless in this bit.
yeah.
it does. It's very sort of in your face with it, and yeah.
I was confused by it, I have to say, because you don't need to have an abusive partner. They could have been like painting and decorating their new house, and she could have tripped over a ladder or something.
Yeah, because he says a line that actually, even when I watched it the second time, I was like, "Ooh, that's a bit near the neck."
I've
I
got
don't
it
know
down,
how I
haven't
want to
I?
say it
Yes,
here, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's the one to do with her. Well, she said turns out she's had 3 miscarriages.
yeah.
And I'm assuming
Well,
it's the
yeah.
one to do with that, which I probably shouldn't repeat because
No, it's considering what we said about David Bellamy last week. Bear in mind
That was
we're
all
not
consensual.
saying- yeah, we're not. He's dead, right? But
It was consensual to him.
Yeah. I've given
what you
myself
would've
permission. Oh, it's what I would have wanted.
I'll just sign this form before I do it. But
I wonder how
yeah.
long it would take. 10 minutes, it turns out. Marvelous.
But yeah, you don't need this subplot because it doesn't go
Yeah.
anywhere and it doesn't tell us anything.
Yeah,
About
but
her.
basically, it sets up that her husband is incredibly callous man, clearly a wife beater because he beats her, and has no tact or sympathy whatsoever. So it seems like the thing of spoiler warning, he's the first victim, and you don't mind because he's established as being absolutely awful. So basically, yes, they have a fight. Well, he attacks her and slams her head against the wall. Does the whole, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean that, I can't control myself. Goes to get her some ice. She locks herself in the bedroom, and he can't get in. So we cut to night time, and he's asleep on the sofa. And things start happening. Machines turn on randomly, the fridge opens.
The TV gets static, which you don't get.
I'm
on
not sure
TVs
you can anymore.
No,
I
you
was
can't.
thinking that's not a thing. Yeah.
He might as well have had him sitting up going, "Oh, the tracking on my video's gone to cock."
They could have said it in '93, couldn't they? I mean, that would have.
Why
been
not?
such a-
Yeah, they could have. They should have
such
said
a
it in the
diversion.
'80s because it would have fit in with the whole vibe going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, so he just gets up and starts wandering around the house, turning things off, wondering what's going on. And when he comes back to the room, there's a scary, dark figure sitting on the TV, changing channels.
No, not on the TV.
You know, in front of the TV.
No, in
In
front
front
of
of
the
the
TV.
TV. He's a fucking elf on a shelf.
Hello.
There's a cool moment there because we see the shadow on the sofa. Then he turns the big light on, right? Which is ridiculous. That time of night, you never turn the big light on. Yeah,
Big light on.
yeah. You put a little light, big light. He puts the big light on, and then as he does that, the shadowy figure vanishes, right? And then you're at this moment you're like, oh, is it in his head? And then genuinely, it's a really cool shot of the sofa, like it's one of those memory things, sort of unpuffs or
Yeah,
repuffs.
it sort of like settles back to what it was, yeah. Cause
So we know that he's not imagining it. That's just a nice touch. It's
Yeah.
quite well directed. This.
This scene is good,
He's a
yeah.
good director. He's a bit too kind of slick at times, but I do like him as a director, as a horror director. Even though most of his horror films fall into that jump scare thing going on.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though. You don't get many horror films anymore which aren't jump scares. I think that seems to be the default norm.
It's what everyone wants. But there's a shot in this coming up later where there's that whole tracking, like doll's house shot from above.
Oh, the spider camera.
I really liked that.
Yeah, I thought that was good. It's not even my forte. So he wanted. Then suddenly, creature appears behind him. It looks like it stabs something into his head. That's not quite what's happened, but either way, Madison wakes up, realizes she's been bleeding from the back of the head where she got hit. Goes downstairs tentatively, sees Derek on the floor, and he's clearly dead.
She bleeds from the head the entire film, right?
Yeah,
and it's at a certain point, it's like you ruin a lot of cushions now.
Yeah.
Put a hat on, for Christ's sake. But also, when we find out why it's happening, I guess everyone will have watched the film. We can say why. Because Gabriel keeps peeling the back of her head off, like.
Yeah.
Right? But it looks like, when we see that it stitches back up magically. One of the many magical things that happen in this film. So I don't know why she's still bleeding from the back of the head all the time.
I think they're trying to say he's hiding behind her hair.
Well, he is, because we find out what they've done is push him back into the skull, and they've done the skull up. But all she ever has to do is like pull her hair apart, and there he is going, all right.
How's it going?
How's it going? Oh, God, sorry. I forget whether or not I can use my mouth to talk, because sometimes I can, and sometimes I have to come through the radio like I'm Mike fucking Reed.
Mike Reed.
Imagine if that's who she was conjoined with.
Imagine if there's been a huge mistake and says, "Oh, it's Gabriel on the radio." Is it? Oh no, it was Gary. It's Gary Davis. Sorry, forget I said anything. Like, it's either a monster or Radio 1 in 1985. There's no way to know.
Well, is there a difference?
That's it.
Dave Lee Travis. Here he comes.
Big hairy cornflake.
Yeah, so the back of her head's bleeding, and she sees the thing on the floor, chases her through the house in weirdly inhuman ways, which I think is a good effect. It looks, genuinely quite unsettlingly, all like angular and insectile.
It's a bit exorcisty, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And she tries to slam a door in it, knocks unconscious, she tries to keep the door shut. And then we cut to the police arriving. And apparently the neighbours heard screams and called it in, which is an excellent American police phrase. We meet Detective Kikoa Shaw, the lead cop. And he's
a complete fucking waste of time.
Complete waste of time.
What's the point of him in any of this?
He doesn't do anything.
He's fragile. Also, I mean, he's perfectly. First of all, he's English. I didn't realize he was English. He's so posh. When I was watching the making of, right? Literally every woman he meets wants to bang him, and he looks like a barista.
Yeah, he does
a bit. It's
not a barrister.
No.
Yeah.
No. But can we talk about the scene of the crime woman? Because you revealed something to me I didn't know. I was watching her and I was thinking, she is.
Her name's Winnie. She's the CSI woman, yes.
Yeah.
Winnie.
She cannot act to save her life. She is like doing Amdram. It's awful.
And you said that in the WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And I said, do you know what? As I was typing it, I thought, I'm going to leave a dramatic pause, even though it's a tight conversation. That's the director's wife.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And you in all caps went, yeah. But she also, this was her idea. This film was her idea. So she has a writing credit of it. This is interesting writing credit-wise, because there's 3 writing credits. There's her, there's James Wan, the director, and then there's an actual writer who was brought in. And I'd love to have been at that first meeting. Right, here's what we got. Lad living in a woman's skull, like. We'll let you sort out the details.
Have you seen Twins? It's Twins done by Cronenberg.
Imagine if Danny DeVito living in Arnold Schwarzenegger's head.
Like Quato.
Yeah. I have a Quato note as well, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But DeVito as Quato, it would actually, it wouldn't detract too much from the effect, would it?
Hey, Quaid, open your mind already.
Get your ass to Mars. Actually...
Kind of interesting in a spaceship in this trying time.
Or, as I said in the WhatsApp chat, it would be better if it was Wallace Shawn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go on, John.
No, I'm not going to do it.
No,
I'm not going to do it.
What's the point of that?
Sorry.
Do Wallace Shawn sucking his own cock to death.
All right, yeah. Wallace Shawn sucking his own cock. He might be doing that right now, for all we know. He might be right now thinking I shouldn't have done this.
What a way for Wallace Shawn to go.
Life flashing before his eyes.
Imposed on his own balls.
Balls up his nose. Yeah.
The ding, ding, ding as he gets tipped on his OnlyFans.
Imagine if that would... Imagine if that became like the new celebrity way that everyone dies. You know, like in the 70s it was heroin, in the 80s it was speedballs. 2020s, there's loads of them sucking their own dicks to death. And yes, I include David Bellamy in that.
Yeah, so basically Derek is dead in very thorough way. And so we see the cops, and they find his body, and Winnie, the CSI girl, is she's a problem. But yeah, they're all like startled by Derek's body. It's a mess.
It is.
And so Madison wakes up. Someone called Sydney is with her. It's her sister.
Yeah.
And she tells her Derek is dead in a sort of very nonchalant way, I thought. Yeah, he's dead.
And she goes, Derek Jameson? Says, no, your husband. Oh.
Surely not.
They mean me.
Hang on a minute.
How did he die?
And he just, God.
The cops would
Then a nurse runs up and just forces Derek Jameson out, pushing him with a broom. I'm sick of Derek Jameson's getting in here and sucking themselves off. This is a hospital.
There's a whole family of them in the air conditioning.
Do they mean me? Oh, for crying out loud. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to have to put traps down for him.
Which is a porno bag.
Or just a single complicated word, and he gets distracted and tries to guess what it means.
Yeah, he's down for.
Infested the Jamesons. That's nice.
Keeping Up with the Jamesons, that's the British series.
We've got a family of Derek Jamesons living in the vents. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Little boys with his face.
In my head, it's like a remake of Aliens now. They're all Derek Jamesons. They mostly come out at night. What?
Get away from her, you. Did you mean me?
Yeah. He's got the scanner and it's just going, me, as it gets closer.
Still, at least he's dead.
Anyway.
And Sydney also breaks the news to Madison that she's lost her baby, she has a proper full-on meltdown about, which seems reasonable, given everything she's gone through.
Yeah.
Then Krakoa turns up to ask questions. Madison doesn't respond. Sydney arrives dressed as a princess. She works at
where does this subplot go?
There's no subplot there.
Nowhere at all.
I think
they do this twice, that she's an actress, but it doesn't go anywhere.
Well, they get a couple of gags out of it, but it doesn't matter what she does. But she's an actress.
She turns out to be surprisingly competent, I'll give her that.
Yeah. But,
Well, she is and she isn't. I got an issue with some of her parking.
oh, yeah.
Okay. I'll put that in the cons column.
We'll get that to it later, but
bad parking, all right?
Is it distasteful if I suggest at this point that Gabriel does to what's the lead girl's name again? I've forgotten.
Madison.
If he says to Madison, he just dresses up as Daniel Day-Lewis and says to her,
I drink your milkshake.
talking about all her babies. Because that's what he's been doing.
Yeah, I know.
Turns out, we think Sydney says that, and no one questions at any point. So.
This is your brain. This is my straw going down into your womb.
I drink your milkshake.
That's what you should
See,
say.
no one ever questions that plot twist that comes later, where Gabriel, who, as we will get to, is just a face glued to a skull behind a wig, right?
Yeah.
Even in the world of the movie, he's just a face on the back of her head.
Yeah.
And they go, he's drinking the fetuses. Well, how's he doing that then? You can't go, I'll have that. How? And you're like, I can't reach.
Yeah, he consumed her children to regenerate himself. Again, this is Sydney just speculating wildly.
That's his sister saying that. It's not a fact. Yeah, it's all about an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
Again, there's been nothing to suggest that she's researched this. I think that was just a massive stab in the dark.
She thinks that vaccines make you pregnant.
Yeah.
I see. You see Gabriel as a consequence of vaccines, I bet. She seems like
Also, this is another problem I have. Bear in mind, I love this film, but they say when Derek smashed her face in, smashed her back of her head in, aka Gabriel's face, that woke him up. But they're also saying that he spent years drinking fetuses. Well, which one is it?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Because I think he's going to have a hell of a time drinking a fetus when he's awake, let alone when he's doing it to sleep.
Yes.
That's just science.
Absolutely.
Maybe he had, that
No
thing
qualms
about,
with
Doctor, I dreamt I ate a massive marshmallow and when I woke up this morning the pillow had gone. Maybe it's that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's a much longer version of this.
Yeah.
I have a malformed fetus in the back of my head, and when I woke up this morning, my fetus are gone. Like, okay, well, that's not as funny a joke. Let's go pillow. Okay. We're going to punch that joke up right away because that's not going on CBBC.
I was about to say DreamWorks, but okay, yeah. BBC sounds. They seem more like they might go down that line. Okay, so we get to the autopsy of Kiko and Regina are just looking at the body. And they said all the handprints are upside down, like the guy who was hanging from the ceiling. Which again, that's just logged for later reference, which doesn't really come back up. Regina's eating a lollipop, classic cop eating stuff in the presence of a fresh corpse thing, which tends not to happen. I'll say that as someone who has worked in this field.
Wink, wink, Dean.
Well,
You've definitely been in autopsies with a bag of minstrels.
Yeah.
I'm on the supply side. Or actually, if it's a proper anatomy theatre, they do tend to make you really hungry because the formalin does that to you.
Yeah.
That's a chemical effect. It's really strange. Yeah. It's been
Would
an hour.
you ever be tempted to sort of break off a finger and chew on it?
Not in front of the students. They probably would find that.
Imagine if you were like the medical version of Columbo, just constantly had a little finger in your mouth. Who loves you, baby?
Just one more thing.
We just need to sit down.
Just one more finger, yeah.
I just don't think this is appropriate.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, baby?
You've got a leg in your mouth.
Yeah, and so I'm going to just skate over that.
Yeah. Not with one leg, you're not.
What else am I going to do? I'm not going to walk, am I? Cops are now aware that Derek was a wife beater and there was no forced entry into the house, so they suspect Madison. The upside down prince mangled corpse dangling from the ceiling thing is completely irrelevant, it turns out.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, that's by the by.
She just made it look like that.
Yeah. for reasons. Cut to 2 weeks later.
It's brilliant. She's trying to frame the whole of Cirque du Soleil.
She was overcharged once, so this is. She left a 3-star Yelp review, but that didn't feel like enough. Cut to 2 weeks later. Madison returned home with Sydney, was asking to stay with her, but she says no because this is my house, which seems very, very bad idea.
Yeah.
Do you think Madison has strong Courtney Cox energy? She sort of has a Courtney Cox vibe about her, I think.
Ish, yeah. I found out she's British as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
Apparently she was in a show called Peaky Blinders.
Oh, Peaky Blinders, yeah.
Never watched it.
No, me neither.
It was a big thing for a while. In the 1800s. So then we see a lot of her house. It looks very Amityville horror, doesn't it? The architecture of the house.
Yeah.
It's almost like they've gone for the classic American
Spooky
horror house.
Yeah.
Madison comes out of the bathroom, sees a street lamp across the window, flickering, shadowy figure beneath. So basically, back to where she started, the shadowy figures
this
back in
bit,
the house.
I don't understand this bit.
She's hallucinating.
But why?
Because it's scary. Honestly, a lot of this film does it make sense? No. Would it look cool? Yes.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Fucking bang it out then.
So in John's world, every hallucination has a middle, beginning, and end, and has a plot to it.
It's in a film, does, yeah.
Why are you hallucinating?
Yeah.
Well, I scheduled this hallucination 3 weeks ago.
You're not going to put a hallucination in Remains of the Day, are you?
Should have done. That'd be hilarious.
It'd be much better, yeah.
Yes, good point. There's no real...
There's no reason. A lot of it is red herrings and just simply he's gone, I need another creepy bit now. What can it be?
Yeah.
Imagine if she looked at her window, right, down the street, David Bellamy sucking his own dick.
I'll be with you in a minute.
She has to ring the police and say, I don't know who it is.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm hallucinating.
And then he stops and says, what do you mean you don't know who it is, cheeky cow? And then he carries on.
He's like, well, you weren't that big in Seattle in the 80s. You go, oh, well, fine then. I'm pretty big now. Yeah.
I can see that.
Transfer to my Bellamy department. It's such a common complaint.
Of course, he used to call his penis the red herring.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
There you go. So she just goes on locking all the doors and windows, and then next morning, again, nothing happens.
There's a really good bit here where she's going through the house. She's nearly all shut, and then she gets to the back, and the back door swings open.
Wide open.
Yeah. And I'm genuinely, that was just an open... It was so well done, this bit. I genuinely got a jump scare from an open door.
But wouldn't you do the doors first?
I think she did, and Gabriel reopened it. Because later on, she nails it shut, and then it's still open.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Gabriel's a prick.
He is a prick, isn't he? He's a
cheeky bastard, yes.
Self-centered narcissist.
No, he does. He takes liberties, is what he does.
I can't stand that in people.
Bad house guest.
Two-faced.
I was going to say there's no concept of personal space, but your comment is better. So cut to the morning. Madison's doing some serious DIY, beefing up her home security, barriers, locks and stuff. And Sydney turns up, he can't get in. So she sneaks up to the window and sort of gets in that way. Madison jumps.
Scare. Yep.
Jump scare. Madison's been all weird and ethereal. Shows her the wall. Where she smashed her head into it. Sydney is a bit pissed off at Derek.
Oh, sorry, it's been 2 weeks. She's still got the dent in the wall.
Yeah.
First thing I do is get the plaster over and sort that out. You don't want a memory of that, do you?
No.
Or put a picture over it.
Put a picture over it, definitely, or a poster.
Yeah. Well, have you got a picture of David Bellamy sucking his own cock? It's all we had. It's all we had.
It's art.
I know what I like.
It comes out for years.
I've got pictures. It's dogs playing cards, and on the table, Bellamy sucking his own cock. And there's a speech bubble. One of the dogs saying, "That's a full house."
There's a picture of Jack Whitehall being fed into a large red dog.
Nice.
It feels like you're going for a theme of a podcast I've never heard.
Yeah. It's called a runner.
I can't believe Gabriel was a fan of ours. Christ.
Oh God.
That's what he spends most of his time doing.
I think he does fit within the core demographic of this podcast.
That's what he's been doing this whole time. It had nothing to do with like family stuff. He's just been listening to our podcast.
I mean, let's think about it, right? He hangs out the back of Auburn. He angrily shouts through speakers. And he's nearly middle-aged. By the way, number one, that doesn't fit with any of the demographics of this podcast. I don't mean in a Richard Key sexual sense. Before anyone writes in. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. Sorry, sir. Where am I at? So Madison says about she wanted a baby because she wanted a biological connection with someone. Sydney, her sister, is confused by this statement. And then she tells Sydney, "I'm adopted." And that apparently is the first time she's heard that. So
Yeah,
what the fuck?
It doesn't make any sense.
She looks genuinely dumbfounded by this.
What is weirder is this is a point in the film where she goes, "I'm adopted," and the music goes, "Ba-na-na-na-na-na," like it's a massive twist.
Yeah, this part, which I was really shocked about, it goes to rock music and a sort of big shot of the pan-in skyline of Seattle, which was
it's not like that's not a twist. It's like, "Oh, I'm adopted." Oh my God, didn't know. It should be like la 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 music as opposed to like it's like she's going, "Oh, I'm Derek Jameson." What?
Oh Christ! So we get this nice big sweeping shot of Seattle at night for reasons unclear, and then we go to a tour guide.
Shutterstock had a
Oh, absolutely.
Can I point out who the actress playing this tour guide? It blew my mind when I realised who it is.
Oh.
Has anyone seen Uncle Buck?
Yes,
many years ago.
You know the older sister, Uncle Buck, who's against John Candy all the way through the
film.
film.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, that's her.
God.
Wow. Really?
What's she been doing?
Well, smack by the look of her. Time has marched on, bless her. But yeah, it blew my mind. Because I guess she must be in her 50s odd now, isn't she? That was 89, so...
1972 she was born, so yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Happy 50th.
Random fact, yeah.
Oh, I enjoyed that. Thank you, John. It's marvellous.
Random tar.
Yeah. Now, she's playing a tour guide, giving people a tour of the abandoned underground of Seattle.
Apparently a real thing.
Real place, and that looks... I would love to go there. That looks awesome.
Yeah. It also looks like the great setting for a horror film. Which is, again, another sort of misdirection, I think, because we think he's in there, don't we? That's what I was led to believe. Well, that's what I believed. I don't know if I was led to. I just jumped to that conclusion.
Well, there is someone at the back wearing a baseball cap the wrong way round, so it might be him. Or it might be a member of Crisscross.
I'd say it's not 93. This is now. So
Actually, come to think of it, maybe Crisscross had Gabriel's because they used to wear their jeans backwards and caps backwards.
Good.
Crisscross will make you jump. Daddy Mac will make you jump. Gabrielle will make you. Oh dear. Hide him.
Get him out of the booth immediately.
He's got a tiny little hat on.
So tours, guys. She's just shutting up for the night, and then the lights flicker and things shudder again, which is a signature of Gabriel being near, isn't it? Machines going
I don't get that. That's underexplored, but yeah. Is that a phenomenon, Dean, that brains can interfere with radios?
No, it's not.
Oh, sorry, just to be clear. Severely underdeveloped brains that only take up half the back of a head and a tiny little withered boys. Can they do electric?
She's electric.
Yeah.
Got
Ask Gary Newman.
Also, do you know what? Just check. How come Gabriel didn't just die years ago? From suffocation or other?
Yeah, I want to know this.
Well, he's connected to her body, so that's a parasitic twin. So he just got all the nutrients from her.
I know, but he's behind someone's skull.
Yeah.
I think you'd have trouble. She'd hear him breathing.
Do you reckon when they opened her skull to do it, there was loads of 5-bar gates in there? Like when someone's been in prison for 60 years. He's got a little bird there. He's the bird man of her brain. He's dug a tunnel with a Rita Hayworth poster and he's come out of her arsehole. That Gabriel tunneled through 10 miles of shit.
That's interesting.
And came
Actually,
out clean.
It does work, because bear in mind, the killer's shoes are on backwards. The whole movie is like, how often do you recognise a man's shoes?
They're on backwards. They kind of stand out a bit, yeah.
I'd love it if there was a whole subplot that inside her body there was this massive scandal about all the body parts being used to run this crooked prison of her body. And at the end, when Gabriel crawls out of her arsehole and goes to the bank, her liver shoots itself because he's the man in charge of the body.
Bob Gunton as liver.
Tries to crawl into the bank, a parasitic twin, just withered limbs going, I'd like to close my account.
Would you add this to your outgoing mail? It's just this really bloodied envelope. Of course.
Do you have any ID?
Yes.
We got a lot of parasitic twins in here.
So this is a Frosties packet.
It does look like you, though.
I'm great. Fair enough.
I'm going to say Wataneo. All right.
To say, Dan, how feasible is a shirt of Gabriel crawling out of her ass?
We'll get working on it. I got all day this time.
Yeah, so dog-eyed lady goes off on her own in the underground. Bit was now dark in a classic bad idea in a horror movie sort of way. Turns lights back on, but it's gone. It's a shadowy figure. But looks up, but he's on the ceiling.
Again.
The pipes. Yeah. Superpowers.
Not pipes from Ghostwatch, for anyone else.
I don't think they were going to, but thank you for clarifying nonetheless.
Good.
Yeah. But, twist, tour-guide lady, who we don't know, isn't dead. She's strapped to a wall, and Gabriel's across the room just getting all shifty and stuff.
Well, setting up some sort of, what's it called? Home improvement style lair. He's got
Home improvement.
You know, like he's got a sword sharpener. He's got a tungsten carbide drill.
I was going to say, I don't remember that room in Tim Allen's house in that show.
I mean, if anyone's got one, it's Tim Allen. I was
going to say, going
Actually,
by the...
if anyone's got one, it's Wilson from next door.
That's true. He only see the top of his head because that's his wife's corpse.
That's his twin.
Yeah,
he's a parasitic twin as well.
Yeah, because judging by the French Prince of Bel-Air remake trailer I saw the other day, there's every chance that if they rebooted Home Improvement, it would be about a serial killer.
Yeah, I can see that.
How dark everything is now. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's a really good point. She wakes up and Gabriel's like approaching all menacingly to Dr. Weaver, and he actually gets a smartphone out, and we cut to a nice home, and we have Pot Lady answering the phone, and it's Dr. Weaver from the opening scenes, and Gabriel says it's time to cut the cancer, which is what she said before the credits started.
That's what she said. Wait, that doesn't work like that. Okay.
Also, we see Dr. Weaver's trophies for excellence in surgery. I don't think those are a thing.
I was going to ask you about that. Do you have any of them?
Me, I have some awards, but not for excellence in surgery because I wasn't especially good at it. Despite my best efforts.
I got the opposite. I got like the golden raspberry of surgery.
Were you like the Dr. Nick Riera? Were you like that guy who came in who's got the feet for hands and hands for feet?
Well, again, Gabriel's look like it. My old friend, Mr. McGregor, with a leg for an arm and an arm for a leg. One of my best, again, my all-time favourite Simpsons jokes when he's been, he's got that critical interview with the medical board. It's, among the worst crimes are misuse of the cadavers. I get it earlier if I drive in the carpool lane. Outstanding one line, I think, personally. But that's just me. So she has all these trophies up, and she has this thing, and she started searching through her archive of old books and pulls a photo out. Cool. And then we get some odd ballad music playing, and it turns out on Madison's radio, and cut back to her, and the radio start buzzing again, and then she seems to react to it too, like she's having a migraine whenever this kicks off. And so that we realise she's linked to it somehow. Do. And she goes downstairs, the laundry, something dark runs across the hallway, like in Signs, presumably Gabriel, and Madison twitches again, and now her head wound is bleeding. So yeah, it's again kind of a lot of red herrings here, I think.
Yeah.
Is this fair or not? I mean, is it good storytelling or are they cheating? I can't decide.
Oh, they're definitely cheating.
Oh yeah, definitely cheating.
Yeah, it's good.
But I can forgive it anything because it's batshit.
Yes, that's my thinking. Like, actually, this does make perfect sense when, later on it's revealed that Gabriel has control over visual cortex, which is a thing, so he can make her see what he wants. Why he'd wanted to see that is uncertain, but
He should have got her to watch some repeats of Lovejoy or something like that.
Yeah. Why does he say, "Oh, I tell you what, I'll have her have visions of the thing I'm doing that nobody should know," as opposed to the fun time where they go on holiday with Tinker. Yeah, it's just.
Well, this is it. I'd have written in this that every weekend she takes a holiday to get away, or a couple of weekends, she takes a holiday to get away from that house into the memories and everything. And it turns out at the end they weren't holidays; they were just Gabriel taking over. That would have been a much
Fight
better
Club
twist.
style,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would make more sense.
I mean, if they're going to half use the music from Fight Club in this, they might as well just nick the plot as well.
Yeah, because it's a funny bit here when she's taking stuff out of the washing machine. We see from the inside of the washing machine.
I like this. I thought it was a telly for a minute. She's got a washing machine telly.
Which also has, I would say, a front-loaded washing machine, which isn't that pretty rare in America?
That is pretty rare. They usually use top loaders, don't they?
But
like in Uncle Buck.
Yeah, it needs to be front-loading for this bit, which she opens the door and looks into the round circular clear bit, and Dr. Weeb's in there and screams, "What are you doing in my house?" And then it gets kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I have to say, at this point, I thought maybe this was the bit, because I was already thinking conjoined twin malarkey, and then I started thinking, is it a haunted house? But just for a second, because like
the other sort of stuff going on.
They keep trying a bunch of different stuff before setting, because the last thing they want is anyone to go, "I reckon it's a little tiny weird baby face and a head."
Yep.
Let's be honest, I can only ask you this, Dean, because I knew about the twist because I'd watched a review of it and they spoiled it.
Oh,
and at the time I thought, well, I'm never going to watch that, so I don't care. But you did you say you twigged it quite early on, or?
Well, I did, but I think that's because this wanders into my area. So I thought when they said Gabriel, but then we keep seeing her, I thought, hang on, is this some sort of twin thing? I thought, oh, parasitic twin. My first thought, honestly,
Derek Jameson.
Sucking David Bellamy's cock to death.
No, sorry. What was your first thought?
It was that he was actually a brain tumor, because it was brain stuff. Dr. Weaver accidentally enhanced it with efforts at treatment, and it became sort of.
I had that thought that she was doing it, but through a malignant semi.
Because it was called Malignant,
tumor.
I thought he's like she tried to cut him off, but he's actually, because it was brain tissue, he's become his own thing. And he's connected to it via psychic bond and stuff. Because I trusted them when they said Malignant is the title of the film, and she keeps talking about cutting out cancer. So I thought, it's a. But no, there's nothing to do with that.
I think that would be a mildly better film. But then again, you would lose the absolute batshittery of
Yeah.
No,
which I think 70% of why this film's good.
Yeah.
I think they, I think they made the right choice. But that's what. But I think they were a little bit. Oh, come on, that's not fair with a lot of these misdirections and stuff. But, fair enough.
I think, genuinely, beyond a bad score, I think if a film student handed this script in, they would get a full row.
Yeah.
I think their teacher would be like, "You have to stay behind and clean the whiteboard."
Yeah.
And as opposed to what actually happened was that they said, "Have 40 million and make this, you madman."
Well, I think James Wan having... my theory, anyway, is that he just was Aquaman the film he did before this.
He'd done Aquaman, yeah,
which was a massive hit, wasn't it? So they probably just said, "Do what you like."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it's terrible, but
Yeah, but a recognisable character in it. So.
Uh,
Yeah, so basically, she watches Gabriel attacking Weaver, and he grabs one of her trophies, which is pointy, very pointy.
Yes.
It's a caduceus, the classic medical symbol, so at least that makes some sort of narrative sense.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the fact that that's the weapon from now on. I think that was a really nice touch.
I quite like when they give the big bad a signature weapon.
Yes.
I think that's quite a nice
Also,
bit,
the kind
because-
of black glovey thing, that's a bit kind of 70s Italian horror, isn't it? The killer having a big leather black glove.
Yeah, but so he beats her to death with his trophy, which is grisly. And then Madison suddenly back in her home, such a head wound again. And then they go back to Dr. Weaver's house. The cops are there. Winnie is there again, stinking the place up.
Absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Doesn't she even make it? No, it's later on she makes a joke, isn't it? A death, murder scene, crime scene. Where the policeman says, "Oh, we just need to find the other half," and she goes, "Don't we all?"
Oh my God! Yeah, no, that's this bit. Yeah,
the fucking corpse there. You're literally a yard from a corpse.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you work on that, you're going to become a bit immune to it, I suppose. But yeah, still, a sense of decorum wouldn't go amiss.
Yeah.
Well, bear in mind there are things that happen in Rising Sun for a start. It's just,
at least that as well.
She's making jokes about it. Rising Sun, she's got her fingers right up there and having a go. She's having a whale of a time. This one's just, I'm trying to make light of the situation. Yeah,
I'm just trying to work on my Type 5 that I'm doing tonight.
Yeah. I'm just. By the way, I'm doing this now, but later on, I'm at the Chuckle Hut, and you should all come.
Or at least turn up. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's part of it. That's going in.
Thank you very much. Oh, and by the way, right? Why do women drive like this? But you're standing on the corpse. Sorry. Sorry.
She kicks up her head as ventriloquist and, hello.
Also, that's not a microphone, it's a whisk. Put it down.
How do you have this job? I married the director. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Can't even keep in character. So basically she said, look, the top half of the trophy is missing, the pointy bit. And they said, we've got to find that because that's clearly a murder weapon. And then they find a big book. So they said, Dr. Weaver specialised in child reconstructive surgery. That's got to be a grim job, isn't it?
Yeah, but hasn't she got all the medical records of all the children she ever treated?
That doesn't make any sense. I mean,
she's not GDPR compliant for a thing.
Yeah, she's not supposed to keep those. That's a really important point. Yeah. Also when what's his name? Coco the cop, whatever his name is. When he goes to see Sydney when Madison's not responding, he tells her that she's had 3 miscarriages. He's not supposed to have that information, is he?
No.
Look, if you're a cop, like, is patient doctor confidential? That's not relevant to anything. So
no, it's not.
Why did the cop?
It's not relevant to a murder case, is it?
No, just very fast and loose with the people's private information. But there we go. So they collect all her archive record books and decide to go through them all slowly. Back to the weird layer with a big fan in it. Tall guy.
Does Gabriel call him?
Call what?
Oh no, I'm misremembering something. So we go back to the fan room.
Yeah, tall guy lady's trying to escape while Gabriel turns the weapon into turns the trophy into a proper weapon.
His angle grinder, yeah.
And then he just throws. It's a big pointy blade now, isn't it? And then he throws it in the wall and says, "Don't even think about it."
Yeah, which again, as I said before, I enjoy that is the weapon. I think that's very clever.
Yeah, good. Here I've got one of my own suspicions. It says, "Suspicion: Gabriel is a brain tumor that Madison had. Weaver experimented on it. It became his own entity. Got too powerful. She cut it out, but it survived somehow and became independent and human-shaped." Not quite, but.
You weren't a million miles away, though.
No, I think I was like 40% of the way there at this point.
Yeah.
Again, I was thrown by the constant references to cancer and the fact that the film's called that. And
turns out it was her star sign. Or his. Maybe he was born 5 minutes later.
I'm sure they'd be Gemini.
I am Gemini, and I've got a thing on the back of my head.
It's Voldemort, isn't it?
It is, yeah. He's a good lad.
He's a good lad.
He's a good. He just sucks off unicorns once a month. He's all right.
So we cut to Madison.
I can read a book while he's doing it. That's a nice thing.
Yeah, gives me some real head space.
Some downtime.
Yeah.
Got to blow my nose after.
And what comes out? You don't want to know about it.
Sparkles.
Vile Sparkles.
Confetti bomb.
Vile Sparkles. Fucking hell.
There's a band name.
Yeah.
We are the Vile Sparkles. Death metal covers of Disney songs or something. I don't know. So cut to Madison thrown up in the toilet as she hears about Weaver's death. Tries to explain to Sydney what she saw and can't quite do it. Again, fair enough. It's a bit bonkers. Cut to Coco and his partner Regina going through the Weaver's files. Regina goes off and says, I'm late for my date with her husband. Coco stays like, no, this is a bit I like. Finds a photo, which we were looking at, looks exactly like a young Madison. Asks a nearby cop, Bosco, so can you age that up by 30 years?
Oh my god.
And I know this is going to prove to be hilarious later.
Yeah. I mean, much better if it came back and she had like an eye patch and hook for a hand,
I assume she got into meth.
a spiked hair.
I know it's the exact same picture again, but there's a calendar in the background that says 2021.
Drawn on.
Oh,
God.
wonderful.
Can you age that up? I know where this is going, and it did not disappoint. Because we've all tried those apps now. We like, what's the one I look like when I'm older? They're just me with more wrinkles on my eyes and some grey hair, which is,
Mine was me getting fucked in prison. You know what that means.
No, is that rustling noise, or is that someone's perhaps a twin escaping?
No, that was
I
mine.
think that's young Mr. Thomas having a snack.
It is,
Because
That's absolutely fine.
we should thank Dan because this is technically his lunchtime after a big meeting. So
yeah. MEETING, just to be clear.
not MEA.
And then we cut to this big apartment building, it turns out, with a big red sign in front of it, because that's important for geographical reasons. And it's the Dr. Fields, the guy with all the brilliant lines from the opening scene.
He's talking through the speakers. I think he's drinking the electricity.
Now, this man was murdered by a critic. Not,
That's Leonard Maltin is the prime suspect on this one.
him in the Gremlins.
Yeah, he's on the phone talking to someone who demands exposition, it turns out.
Yeah.
It's a very, very... well, don't bring up that Simeon. I haven't seen it for years, but it was all... Oh, Jesus.
He goes, the woman I knew, she only ever helped people. Then there's a pause, and he goes, well, don't bring that up. And he goes, there was a different time.
He says that was a different time.
He says this was 1993. It's not the distance past. He goes, yes, it's 1993. Ace of Base are riding high in the charts. The number one film is Jurassic Park, and the latest craze is experimenting on children. It's fucking hell.
She did it all in blackface. It was fine.
It was fine back then.
He actually rang the speaking plot.
Very nice.
At the third stroke.
The information required will be.
Yeah, because at first I thought this was a hotel because it's got a big neon sign out front, but it's not. It's an apartment, really sparkly furnished, but still. So lights go out again. There's a window open. Trailer water to a side room, which is full of shirts. Nice.
I think that's the building from Highlander as well.
Uh,
The silver. Is it Silver Cup? It says in the neon.
Silver something,
it is,
yeah.
actually.
Or maybe
I
it's
think
a
that's
reference
it's
to
Silver Cup, yeah.
I think that's a building in LA, and I think, unless someone will tell me I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure the end battle with the Kurgan and McLeod is on top of that building.
Maybe that's going on while this is happening, because in the future,
think I
it's
might be
tended,
wrong.
isn't it?
Yeah, maybe that is happening across the street. He's like, hey, Marjorie, you won't believe what's happening across the road.
Yeah, I don't know why we moved here. Hey, we got one thing. We got Scotsman fighting on the roof. We got a bloke with a face in the back of his head killing people who give bad line deliveries over there.
No wonder the rent is so cheap.
Yeah, it's not cheap enough, I'll tell you that, Marjorie.
He doesn't draw his curtains either when there's a big red light coming through the window.
I know.
That annoyed me.
I've got that note as well. He goes to bed, leaves all the curtains open, getting up at 5, you prick.
Yeah. Unless it was Kenny Rogers' chicken across the road and he was just...
Yeah, it's like in the Kramer episode, yeah.
Seinfeld, yeah.
All I can see is a giant red sun in the shape of a chicken.
And he gets killed by Mr. Marbles. Mr. Marbles. Anyway.
So so we see him like Gabriel pops up here and there, and then we see him going about his routine, and then he gets into bed and nothing happens. But then we see Madison in her bed, and then she sort of wakes up, and then she's in bed next to Fields.
And he says,
Thanks, baby. That was amazing.
sorry, he goes,
Thanks, baby. That was amazing.
I just had sex with a woman, yes. On the phone. Yes, prostitute, yes.
I'm not
Well,
a
don't bring that
prostitute. Oh, sorry, I've grossly misjudged what's happening here.
Yeah. So he sees Greg on top of him, he stabs him to death quite brutally, and he looks at Madison with his tiny little beady eyes.
I can't believe I didn't figure it out, because there's this shot where Gabriel's leaning over the body, and it's quite clear when you look at it, when you know what's happening, that's what's happening.
Yeah, there's someone standing with their back to him.
It's clearly
backwards,
somebody
yeah.
squatting over him with their head tilted back as though there was a rubber fake face in the back of their head. But it just but weird because he directs it so well that there's a flash of light and you see it and you could figure it out there if you wanted to, and then it goes dark and you don't really see the shape of him. It just looks off. It's just weirdly a person wearing. Considering how many times we've definitely done it, it's weird. Someone wearing a coat backwards is creepy as shit in this film.
Yeah.
That's really well done. Gotta give him that.
And the performer doing it, I'm sure it was some sort of dancer or something
There
like
was
that.
different people. So it was
Oh, was it?
contortionists. Yeah, they had different contortionists with basically different points that bended. So it would depend what they needed for the shot.
They did really well. It's really well done.
Yeah, no, it's really creepy because it's so close to human but not human. Proper uncanny valley stuff, and yeah, it's really alien, which is really well done. So Madison tells Sydney about it because she had this vision again, and Sydney said, "Let's go tell the cops," and they do, and they obviously they struggle to believe what's happening, and she said, "Let's go look. If we're wrong, you can have Madison committed and arrest me." And I don't think they can. I don't think they can. They can have someone committed because she told them she had a vision.
Not
That's
really, no.
Really quite.
Oh, so what? Well, actually, the sister says, if we're wrong, you can put the cuffs on me. And then she looks at Kakoa like, know what I mean? Kinky?
Yeah.
And off they go.
Again, doesn't go anywhere. Just
No.
they have a bit of flirty banter, which again, is it even that? It's not.
Not really, no.
Well, because Regina says like, "Oh, she's a pretty blonde. You're always into that," and has a go at him about it. But they go to the apartment building. She says it's on the top floor. Don't know if she knew that, but she does.
Oh, because of I think because of where the sign is.
Okay, that makes more sense.
He said, I saw a man fighting on the roof with a sword.
Yeah. I was about eye level with him, so I'm thinking roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, Dr. Ruth?
Dr. Ruth fighting with a sword. Very interesting image.
That bloody Dr. Ruth is around now as well. God almighty, this neighbourhood's got a shit.
Can I just say, by the way, while we were talking, I just looked, Silver Cup is indeed where the fight happens at the end of Highlander.
Oh, so that's a real building.
It is.
It's not art decked to look like that. Interesting.
No.
Is it in Seattle?
It is, hang on, Silver Cup Studios. It's in New York, actually.
Yeah.
Silver Cup Studios.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Silver Cup is Silver Cup is a studio in Queens, but it's not a big. I don't know what's going on here.
No, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not what the sign said. Maybe I thought it said that.
I got written down Silver Cup, so
Yeah. Maybe it's a reference to Highlander.
Let's have a look. There's a Google search for Silver Cup Malignant. No, it doesn't go anywhere. Apparently, the film was tentatively titled Silver Cup.
that would have made less sense, I think.
Yeah, that would make
Yeah, it was the working title for Malignant, Silver Cup.
Oh,
How
okay.
odd. Anyway, ignore
Well,
that.
there we go. Let's back out of that cul-de-sac. And so they go, like, basically, Kikoa and Gina are going door to door trying to see if anyone's been murdered. Essentially what's happening. And they're knocking...
exactly. I love that it's the first door they come to as well. Anyone been murdered?
That's
No.
the second one, because they said to someone, "All right, thanks for your time." And she's like, "This is a waste of time." Yes, doors open, they go in, he's just been stabbed to death. And
And she walks through and goes, if there's anyone in here, you have to tell us. I don't think the murderer does.
So they go back to the police station. Madison describes the killer, and they've got a drawing of it. It looks like what she described, what she saw, but also Regina calls it Sloth from the Goonies, which seems harsh in so many ways.
Because he was a handsome man.
Well, he was looked better than that. Yeah, and so she said, "What are we going to do with this?" Again, fair point. I goes,
Oh, I actually have a quick question with that because the joke she makes is, so you're asking me to put out a bolo for Sloth from the Goonies. Now, I'd never heard bolo before.
Yes, what does bolo mean?
Be on the lookout.
Oh.
Right? But it used to be APB.
Yes,
Yeah,
it did.
They've
all
changed it from
quite funky,
APB. I don't know why. This is. I think APB sounds cooler than bolo.
It does.
And I hope it's not a thing that lasts in films. That's my only note on the entire film.
Because when you say Bolo, I just think of one of the baddies in Enter the Dragon was Bolo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, those bolos, the things that wrap on your legs, so they are part of capture, I suppose. And
Yeah.
Yeah. But put out an APB is classic crime film talk, and I don't want to lose it to Bolo. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree. It's disgusting.
Bloody Brexit.
That's the most disgusting thing about this film.
Yeah.
So Madison goes to the bathroom to compose herself. She feels embarrassed. Her phone rings in that weird buzzy way, and Gregory answers. Gregory.
Gregory.
Gregory. Gregory down. So he starts giving her some home truths, it turns out. Calls her Emily. Your fake mother gave you the name Madison. Your shitty marriage gave you the name Mitchell, but you'll always be Emily to me.
I didn't know what you meant by home truths then. I thought I missed a whole bit. He's going, you can lose some weight. Okay? I'm not judging. I'm thinking of your health.
Get
You know what? You're using a lot of... You don't have the ankles for those flowery dresses.
I've had a lot of time to think about this.
You're never going to write that novel.
You know you can't afford that house.
Who's still driving an 82 Corolla?
Who the fuck wrote this? That's enough.
Anyway, he just says you adopted your twat.
Yeah, which she knew already, it turns out. But yeah, although she keeps saying she doesn't know anything before the age of 8 when she was adopted. Yeah, okay. I guess so. She has had some violent brain surgery at that point, so I'll let it go. Is that standard practice to, when a child's already 8 years old, to give them a new name? Because I know people have adopted.
I don't think so. I think you do that with pets.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you do it with people.
If you're 8 years old, you've pretty much become aware of your name already. I don't think you...
Yeah. I think you can tell this is written by people who don't have kids, right? Because by 8 you have basically an adult.
Yeah.
He goes, I have no memory from when I was 8.
Least.
Yeah, I'll probably stick to my name, and I've got my own bank account. Why don't you guys fuck off? I'm calling myself Emily forever. Like, okay.
Yeah, so until this point, Madison doesn't know who it is, and then she suddenly calls him Gabriel. She's panicking, so she does, subconsciously recognise him. They leave the station, but then Bosco comes back, and Coco says, "Where's that picture? It's on your desk. I thought that's why you called her in." So he picks up the 30 years age photo, and it looks exactly like Madison.
It's literally the actress's headshot.
It's clearly just I don't know why that made me laugh as much as it did. It's just because it's so... That's not how it works.
It's the same hairstyle. He went down, she definitely have that hairstyle. She knows her bangs work for it.
I mean, it did make me think of that they did those photo fits of what Madeleine McCann would look like now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sort of... You have no way of knowing it. It's just so...
No.
Oh, yeah, so that made me laugh. Sydney says to go out and tell the cops about the call, because she hasn't. Then she says, they think I did it, which seems a bit much. And then they drive to a farm. It turns out that's where their mother lives. So, adopted mother, at least. She's in a wheelchair now. And,
this could have been an email, this scene, couldn't it?
No. Absolutely not. Because you need that moment where they go to the mum, who's Gabriel, and the big dramatic music and a little... They went to the trouble of wheeling out a dolly shot thing. The whole rig, so it could move into the mum. Yeah, who's Gabriel? It looks... She's so dramatic. And then she gets all the VHSs out. She goes, you never know when these are going to be useful.
Yes. Well, still got video players waiting around, yeah.
It's like, you never know when it's
still
going
got
to
a
be
VHS
handy.
player in 2021 as well. We'll have to, I've got them all in the loft, but we'll have to take them to a shop and get them all put on DVD. Tesco will still be open.
They do. That's a joke in Futurama at one point when Fry's like he doesn't know about space herpes or something. They said he never had basic sex ed in school, and Professor goes, "I keep a copy of the video player for just such an occasion." And just presses play.
Sorry, Dan. Did you let it slip? Then you've still got a VHS player.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I have 5 VHSs. I don't know why I still have it, really.
Oh, I don't even want to know what they are.
Oh, then. Well, it's pictures.
The latest Welsh films, John.
Yeah, it's just footage of me talking to my invisible friend.
Yeah, which they filmed and kept.
You filmed the.
Yeah. So that's
I know,
what video is.
but she acts like, oh, you never know it's going to be handy to have the creepiest shit footage of your child's 8th birthday. I would be showing that to everyone.
It's Damien Thorne's 6th birthday. We kept it when the nanny hangs herself out the window.
You never know, because one day somebody might come around and ask about this.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so that's what it is. It's videos of Madison at a very young birthday just talking to Gabriel off to one side, being creepy as fuck. And the kid actor does a good job, I think.
Yeah, fine.
It's nice. And back to Cop Coco, and he finds one of Weaver's books is full of memory
Coco
sticks.
the clown, more like.
Ah, yes, right. You tell him, John.
Yeah.
Stick it to Coco.
Yes.
He found one of the books full of memory sticks, and it's all the video diaries from the opening sequence, which he hid for reasons.
I think they'd rattle about. This really, they'd fall out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You're not on, like, he's on like book 27 he's ploughing through, and then he goes, oh, this one's been rattling the whole time. And it's full of, also, it's full of like data sticks, which they wouldn't have had in 1993.
No.
I guess she could have shifted them over, I guess. I guess she's done that.
Yeah.
But then why is she hiding them?
Well, yeah, that's my point. These don't seem. Are you not meant to, these are your own personal video diaries. Why are they secrets? Why? Bah, I don't know. I mean, if we're going to focus on this stuff, this isn't the biggest plot.
No.
likely occurrence in the film.
A lot of the things that happen in this film are the direct, like everything we go, well, you know, you couldn't do that in the real world, or this doesn't make any sense. It's just the director going, well, you know what, we have to get, then there's a scene coming up later that you are going to love, and you're not going to care about any of this. And he's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, this film is actually really quite well paced. I think it doesn't like there's no lull.
Oh,
I think it lulls a bit at this point, but yeah.
You think so?
On the
a
whole,
little
yeah.
bit, but this is where the extra. I agree with you, but this is one of the few films we've done where I looked at the time and I thought, this is when I was watching on my own a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh, there's only 20 minutes left, and I haven't had that.
well,
Like, in my soul, I'm still watching fucking Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Oh, God.
Right? It's still playing. This whips along. And I agree there's a bit of a lull, and it is nearly 2 hours, and it feels like it's 20 minutes too long. But I can live with it, because it's got charm.
Compared to Alita last week, which is all over the shop in terms of slow, fast, slow, fast. What?
Yeah.
And, no, divergence and stuff. Yeah, so no, fair play to that. So, where are we at? So Emily is the patient, Ime, that Coco finds and starts looking at videos of her. And they mention that part of Weaver and Fields, there's a Dr. John Gregory, who is also part of the team which oversaw Emily and Gregory, I guess. And wait, is his name John Gregory? Because that's where I got Gregory from. Yeah, because Gabriel and Greg, I got mixed up there in my notes. Sorry about that. And so Coco goes to find him, and he's already been stabbed to death in the bath, which is nice. But Gabriel's still there, and Madison can see it now with a supervision, whatever. Not supervision, not overseeing this. Now, jump down from the ceiling and stab him 4 times. Yeah. That's not what happens. So there's a bit of a fight and a chase between Gabriel and Coco the cop, and it's been quite long. Like we see Gabriel flop down some fire escapes like he's got no bones.
It goes on forever, this.
Yeah. This one does get a little bit long-winded.
We should probably just jump to the underworld Seattle thing that's now
So
inexplicably full of 4 feet of dry ice.
I got the exact note, and ancient carriages.
Fucking swamp gas.
Stagecoaches.
Now then, I've heard many people complain about the ancient carriages being there. It's like St. Fagans now, which is a reference for Dean, probably more than John, which is old. So they've put the carriages there to give a sense of Seattle in the 19th century. They didn't just leave them there.
Yeah,
it's like a display.
Fine.
Yeah, I didn't mind the carriages. It was the massive load of dry ice on the floor.
The dry ice
level
is
dry ice.
mental.
I don't understand it.
It's
Doesn't
just,
have every purpose either, does it? It's not like
at one point, the camera does pan to one side and they're shooting a Genesis video. I should have.
Gabriel again. Yes, there we go.
Hey.
Yeah, that's what that was. But there was a bit of a tussle, and it's a bit of back and forth, and Gabriel escapes by climbing up the wall in the corner through a hole in the ceiling. Back to Madison's house, and so he explains to her, Coco, that the doctors are all killed dealing with Emily's case, and so they take her to a hypnotherapist who has little to do. We see her really.
Oh, she does enough though, doesn't she?
Yes,
God.
seems to be a vaguely thankless role. But so she
She should be struck off, this woman.
Yeah.
yes, she's
She seems a tad unprofessional.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she basically induces massive violent memories in Madison of Gabriel convincing her to kill her pregnant mother's baby by making her think she's slicing cake. So I made a lot of notes. I thought, I don't know how much of this is relevant. But that was Sydney. There was Sydney, the baby that she was being coerced to kill. And then she's the reason Gabriel went away. They say she didn't need him anymore. Now he's back, so I guess Sydney's on his hit list. More storms happen. There's a lot of storms going on in this film. Back to tour guide prisoner lady. Just managed to break the ropes, holding one of the arms up.
I was saying, because they do this establishing shot of the shot of Seattle, and that's definitely cheating, because the reason he's put that in is to give the sense of passage of time and location.
Yeah.
And that's the only bit that's why this gag works.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So she basically gets herself free. She's wandering on this big loft pit, falls to a weak spot in the floor, falls like 3 stories, and lands in Madison's front room where she's been this entire time.
It's mental.
It doesn't make any sense. Because we see a shot earlier of her going out of the living room, up the stairs to the first floor landing, and then they cheat here and have it that there's suddenly this 40
Totally different geometry.
Ceiling.
Yeah. Which also that is made of papier-mâché. Because she walks through. I mean, she just. It's normal flooring. It's a solid oak floor. Straight through that. Cheers.
It's a good fall, Mike, isn't it? She's just really emphasis of falls a long way and has a massive thunk when she lands.
Straight through an oak coffee table.
This should have been the ending of the film, right? She should have fallen, landed on Madison, and Gabrielle should have shot out the window.
From her ass.
From her ass, yeah.
Into David Bellamy's mouth.
Into an empty grave. So someone was filling in.
Onto David Bellamy. He's like,
Ugly little bastard, I can't finish my wank now.
Well, Bellamy's leaning over and he thinks, no, I won't do that because it's deadly, and the body hits him in the back and forces him to choke on his own knob. Which would have been a better ending than one we got, by the way.
Yeah, I guess. Madison starts screaming excessively, and then they arrest her for because it was in her house, I guess. Although Coco has encountered the killer at this point, and he's a hideously deformed super being, which seems that should have been an aspect.
I know, but it's like
circumstantial. Yes.
Even if it was like, listen, love. Even if you're not involved in kidnapping this woman, the ceiling is so thin, you would have heard breathing when he was sitting down here watching, Only Connect or whatever the fuck, right? You'd have heard a woman up there breathing. You get to jail.
Anyway, to zip it on a bit, they interrogate Madison, and she goes all sort of aloof and moody, gets angry, the lights blow out.
So she's got the power to blow out electrics as well, is she, all of a sudden?
Yeah, well, if Gabriel's in her body, then she logically would have had it this whole time, just didn't know about it, but I don't know.
It feels it would have come up before.
Yeah.
Like, the first time. And nobody seems surprised, it's like, I can't believe everything tripped at the same time.
Yeah. At this point, Gabriel calls Coco's phone and makes it, says, "It's me, don't ignore the dumb bitch Madison." So the supposed killer has just called them when she's in the room in front of them. But they still keep her arrested.
That's what. But so at that point, when that phone call happens, that's when I was like, I don't know what's going on anymore. Then, because it didn't occur to me that if she's got a twin who's living in her head, he could also make calls like.
And he makes the phones go all static.
Yeah. In a way the phones do not do.
No.
Yeah. Because he's
at this point, I was like, well, I don't know what's happening anymore. It's probably aliens. And I genuinely went, I think it's aliens at this
A wizard
point.
did it.
How close are we to the end, by the way?
You are?
How close are we to the end?
Very close. He's in the police station. So,
Hooray!
Right.
don't worry, I know. I've got time limits. Ask her what she used to call me, and she says the devil, which that's not very imaginative.
Yeah.
Sydney decides to go to the hospital she finds on her own, shuttered since the 90s, the scariest place on earth.
And yeah, as Dan mentioned earlier, she parks like an inch away from the cliff edge.
Yeah. I know it's a creepy old building, but it would have had a car park.
Yeah.
And it's free now, after 6.
Yeah. So she goes into this massively creepy building, goes to the basement where the records are kept, alone, in the dark, and finds the files.
And nothing happens to her.
Nothing at all. It's
There's a
red
jump
herring.
scare, and then nothing happens. Because he
probably
goes,
a
oh, it
big
must have been
rat.
rats. We'll never
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah. So he goes back to her mother's place while Madison is put in jail with a bunch of female prisoners in an alarmingly large cell, and the female prisoners are weirdly dressed. There's someone there from the 70s.
That is
Yeah.
so weird. It's like she's gone to heaven or something, and they're waiting to go into the waiting room for God.
But
It's
it
limbo or
looks
something,
like a Taschen coffee table book of prostitutes through the ages.
Yes, that's an excellent way of putting it.
I feel like, because they clearly all are, I don't want to judge, but they clearly all are. But like, just there, there's 19 prostitutes, Maddie, and just Elizabeth Holmes. Just going, I developed a blood system that doesn't really work, but I'm making money from VCs. Like, okay, well, you stand back. And here we are. I mean, everything sort of comes together. They take the video. So her sister takes the video to the mother.
Yeah.
Because the only VHS in fucking Washington State.
yeah.
Yeah. They watch it. We see young Madison saying that she was a 15-year-old rape victim, which is grim, and that's why she's got the kids. Serena Madison's mother is played by the same actress, I think. But she says he's an abomination. We think talk about Gabriel. So we see young Madison talking to the camera, and Sydney's mother refers to medical people. Thomas had died giving birth. And she calls them lying cockknockers at this point, which is quite jarring.
Yeah.
The overall tone of
I
the
enjoyed that.
of the
They don't lying cockknockers.
Like Beavis and Butthead wrote this.
It's like, it's really it's creepy bits. The lying cockknockers. Oh, okay. There we go. That took me out for a second. And basically we see, she's distressed. And we see that Gabriel is a parasite on the back of her head with little arms and everything.
He's got little rod puppet arms, which I
He's
enjoy.
got, it's
Yeah.
brilliant.
It's a good effect.
It is and it isn't.
Yeah.
It looks like his arms look like. Oh, what we did is, in scenes when Kermit is cycling, we just ripped the legs off that and painted them red.
He looked like when you see the underside of a manta ray.
Yes, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Or one of the aliens from the end of the abyss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, the two extras who were restraining the monster thing are having the weirdest day of extra in their fucking lives. Because you could look, I paused and looked in their eyes and they were like, I don't know what this film is.
Yeah, it's an interesting scene. It's certainly novel.
It got me. I didn't jump, but I did went, oh Jesus God.
Yeah, that's a bit much, isn't it? So we cut back to Madison. She's having some grief from the prisoners, just giving her shit because she's Miss Country Club and stuff. They say, Sydney, Dr. Weaver says that they can access the visual cortex, making Emily see what he wants her to see. I don't know if they know that, but they do know that. Madison gets a kick in from the prisoners, and that's when things start to take off a bit.
That's when it happens. That's the greatest moment in cinema history.
Yeah.
This is the fucking rosebud of the 21st century. This is.
Just before this, we see that they said they're going to remove Gabriel they can't cut all him off because he'll kill her. So they literally push him into her brain and sew the skull up. Wow!
We cut off his body and his arms and his legs, and we just jammed his face in, and he'll be no bother. Like, do you have to? Yeah. Will it work? Yeah.
So in the prison cell, the lights start going weird. Madison pulls the skin on the back of it. She pulls her own skull apart. And
Yeah.
Gabriel's face emerges.
But he's not in the skull anymore. It's
I know.
clearly she's fucking wearing a toupee and just like it's like she's just got sandwich wrap around the back of her head, and he's just pushing his way through. Yeah, I wouldn't even bother. It'd just always be there. All right. Anyway, so
I'm guessing she does her own hair, to be honest. So that seems like something which would.
Imagine, I couldn't help but thinking what it must be like. I'm not to be vulgar, but I do it doggy style with her.
Yeah.
It's like at some point you're gonna go,
That would
I
be
wanna
an
see a-
excellent episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry is like, I'm dating this girl, and every time we do it doggy style, I can see her conjoined twin's face.
Yeah. So then Gabriel emerges from the back of her head. She goes all inverted and then just has a massive killing spree, kills all the prisoners in increasingly graphic ways with superhuman strength, quite clearly.
I love when they punch someone through someone. Like you've got a pointy fist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't
like-
work that way.
One of them, Zoe Bell, as well. Did you notice?
Yeah, who's having a time of her life, she is.
She is loving it. She's an Australian stunt woman who's in all
I
the
do not,
Tarantino
just
films.
just for New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand, beg your pardon.
So just-
Just for the ethics, okay. Guard, again, there's a lot of screaming going on. A guard finally turns up.
Worst guard in the world.
Yeah.
Worst guard in the world. Step away from the bars so that you can't be grabbed by the creepy skull monster. He's like right there. He's like, oh, I'll have the keys then. All right, there you go then. Wanker.
Also, that police cell seems to me like it's about 25 feet too big.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
you got-
huge, isn't it?
Well, you know, you
A
get
converted basement or something.
it's the same as the police office, which is an open
is
plan
from-
thing.
From Blade Runner, by the looks of it.
Or just any Michael Bay film. It's almost as if they need room for quite elaborate choreography.
What are the odds? Well, as it happens, Gabriel escapes, goes to the evidence room where Winnie is hiding and serving no purpose, gets his weapons back and goes into the main police office and just starts slaughtering everyone in elaborately choreographed ways.
It looks like the Matrix now. I was grinning from ear to ear. By
He
this
does,
bit.
yeah. He is clearly bulletproof and invulnerable, despite existing.
He's not bulletproof. He's just really fast. He dodges.
Well, he gets shot a lot. You see that?
Does he?
Yeah, there's like, he's got holes in it at some point.
Later on, yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, well, it's a massive killing spree. The only ones who survive are Winnie, because she's, director's wife, and Coco and Regina. He goes to the hospital to try and cut him off because they assume he's going to kill his birth mother, because they figured out what's going on. And so Sydney gets there first because she's figured out beforehand. There's a guard there. His pacemaker explodes.
I love that bit. It's my pacemaker. And it goes.
Because pacemakers have sort of like a combustible chemicals in them, I guess. So
The battery would explode. Yeah. That might be the most scientifically accurate thing about this. Because he goes, it's getting hot. It's getting hot. Is it hot in here or is it just me or my pacemaker? And then his pacemaker explodes. That could happen.
all right, I'll take Dan's word for this. He's
that
the
what
science
you
guy
know,
now.
yeah.
I'm host, Dan's science guy. John can still be John.
And John just...
John, you're Welsh now, okay? So we're all reallocated our roles.
You're Welsh now, but you can still do celebrities choking on their own cocks.
Good, thank you.
Like it's the weather report.
It's been a cabinet reshuffle.
That's what Bellamy called it. Yeah, so Gabriel turns up, just dispatches Coco quite easily by lodging his blade in his shoulder. But then the birth mother wakes up conveniently and says, I shouldn't have abandoned you. Oh no, wait, then Coco turns up and tries to shoot him. He throws a bed at Sydney, pins her against the wall. But then she says, Madison, help, he ate your babies. It's pretty much what happens.
Yeah.
Just gets wild stab in the dark, but she apparently is correct, or at least Madison believes her. And then we see Gabriel shoots Sydney in the head and smothers his mother to death. And he says, you turned me into a monster. Then suddenly all the walls dissolve, like he did to Madison. And they're having a sort of face-to-face confrontation. And she says, I have your powers now. Because she decided she wants them, I guess. And puts him in mind jail, I guess is what's happening.
And again, she does the weirdest line reading, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Because he says, I'll be back. And then she says, and next time I'll be ready.
Yes, really sort of classical, earnest.
Yeah.
So this film is basically sibling rivalry, the horror film.
Yeah.
And
it turns out everyone's fine then.
yeah.
Right, so she wakes
comes
up.
out,
Also, the nice thing is she's got Gabriel superpowers because she lifts the bed up.
Yeah.
The mother, in fairness, she's alive and she stays alive.
Well,
Yeah,
the last shot is like a pan away from the scene.
Yeah.
And the mum's in bed looking at them, just smiling. I was like,
Yeah.
what are you smiling at?
I'm on heavy drugs.
You've just witnessed horrific incidents. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
I like it when
my-
they play together.
That's my daughter and a girl I've never seen before in my life.
Yeah.
But she says, like, I don't need a biological connection. I've got you, Sydney. And that's the end of the film. Like, the fact that she killed dozens of people in cold blood is...
I mean, the police
is
station,
goes
they're going to be
unresolved.
mopping that up for weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lionel
that's
Hutz
about
has got a hell of a case in the end.
so that's Malignant.
Malignant. Well done, Dean. Well
Brilliant.
fun.
captured. Brilliant.
So, Dan, thank you. I think that was fun.
That
Yeah,
was fun.
I think this is the best film I've ever seen in my entire life, and we don't need to do this anymore.
I did
All right.
I did a rough list of my favourite films of 2021 at the end of 2021. Having not seen this, I would put it in there. Actually, I really enjoyed it. It's so rubbish but so fun.
Yeah, it's like normally rubbish. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
I hope it knows. It doesn't matter really. We get the same out of it, but I think maybe he doesn't know because Dean on the Blu-ray I've lent you there is a making of, and
Okay,
I don't think he knows. Poor love.
Oh, okay. That's That's funnier then, though, isn't it?
So
That is better.
whose turn is it next week?
It's yours, John. So
Right.
I'd,
Well, I am
I'd
going to
enjoy
pick a sequel.
Oh.
Right. And the reason I wanted to pick it is because I noticed it was streaming on Prime, and I thought, well, that's a terrible sequel. And then I thought that might be quite fun because it's so bad. And then I remembered it's got a brain element to it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm picking Rocky 5.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God.
All right.
There
It's
is a
very
massive
rare.
subplot about a brain in it.
Oh, God. These usually get discussed in advance, everyone, and he really has just told us that live on air. Oh, Christ. I'm having a real reaction. Oh, I hate that film.
It's dreadful, but there's
I'm
a whole
so excited.
there's a whole thing about a brain in it.
Don't put this on me now, John.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it.
I'm making this. This is going to be Dean's fault by proxy.
It's streaming on Prime, so it won't cost a penny.
Oh, and it's welcome to.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you know what? It's awful.
Okay.
Which is, I believe, the tagline they went with for that film.
Do you know what?
They may
It's
as,
awful.
they may as well. Stallone
You know-
said it 5 minutes after it was made.
Yeah, you've got the you know what? You know what? It's awful.
But it's interesting because it's got Tommy Machine Gun in it, and it's got a bloke pretending to be that boxing promoter that everyone used to love.
I've only seen it once.
It's got
And-
the ghost of Burgess Meredith.
Oh, God. All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to get this out of the way as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Okay then.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
Yes, with more Rocky-based antics.
More brain-based antics.
All
The
right.
world's greatest brain film podcast.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for coming to the Tuesday Night Movie Club, and apologies in advance for next week. And for once,
Yeah.
it's not my fault, which I'm happy about.
Hello.
Yeah, that's your new role now. With the cabinet reshuffle,
Yeah.
you pick shit ones now.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with this role. Goodbye.